Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome to another edition of eHeroes. Today's eHero is Vance Morris, and today we're going to talk about Disney magic. Vance is a former Disney employee, but he's also written a brilliant book on how to turn your business using Disney magic. So welcome, Vance, and thanks for being on the show.
I appreciate it, Rob. It's gonna be fun.
You know, let's go back to where you were a Disney employee. I mean, why Disney? I mean, why work there versus anywhere else?
Well, quite honestly, a buddy of mine from college ended up being a recruiter for Disney, and he said, we got a lot going on down here. Somebody of your, what you can do in food and beverage industry. Why don't you come on down? We've got a resort opening up. We need help opening it up, and I'm pretty sure you'd fit in well with the team. So I came down, and I was on the opening team of the Yacht and Beach Club in 1990 or 91.
Wow. I mean, there's so many changes at Disney going on nowadays, and we try to go down, every year, but sometimes it's every other year. But I'm just amazed that this year I look at Disney going, and they're pumping a lot of money into the parks, especially Epcot. They got to rejuvenate that area, But you wrote a book all about bringing the magic of Disney into your business. So, is it based on your experiences working as an employee, or is it based on the outside looking in of what they're doing?
A little of both, really. I mean, Disney's got a system for everything. I mean, how to change a bus tire, how to wait on tables, how to answer the phone. I mean, there's an SOP, it's probably about 10 pages long just on how to change a bus tire. And that's what allows Disney to really wow their guests, because everybody knows what needs to be done. And because that system is there, it gives them the freedom to be able to do those little extra things, because they're not worried about, okay, how do I do this? Where does this go? I mean, it's all, and a lot of those wows are built into those systems. And now that I'm not with the company anymore, looking at it from the outside in, knowing that those systems are in place, you can see exactly what they're doing to continue to create a great experience for their guests. Now, there's been some slippage, over the years. There's a couple of, little chip paint here, a little cranky employee over there. But for the most part, I mean, when you got 85,000 employees on, 50 square miles of property, you're going to have a hiccup or two. But if any of your listeners, are complaining about, being able to communicate to their 5 employees in their office, try doing it with 85,000 and making sure that message, from 9 a.m. and by noontime, all 85,000 have gotten that message. So really, really all about systems. And I've carried that through to my other jobs that I've had and to the 2 businesses that I own. Everything is systematized. That's even a word, but systematized, so that you can, so that anybody can walk in and understand exactly what's going on and what's expected.
From a Disney standpoint, do they have manuals that they give to the employees so that they know their job, or is it stuff that's just taught to them and ingrained over time?
Well, back when I was there, this was pre-internet days. They had we had binders. The restaurant that I helped design and operate, Chef Mickey's, the breakfast server manual was a 4-inch thick binder of standards. How do you pour the orange juice? Where do you pour it? How do you talk to the guests about the characters that are moving through the dining room? What do you do to get them to have the best experience possible? Because we had 400 some odd seats, and we only had 42 minutes to get Mickey Mouse through 400 some odd seats and make it feel like it was a great experience. So without any type of systems or standards, that experience would not happen.
Yeah, I was just reading a report on Chef Mickey's, and people were complaining because I guess their time allotment, or they were waiting their expected wait to see the characters was longer than anticipated. And I guess that's something that Disney is now trying to work on, where, the churn rate to move these people in and out of the restaurant while still getting their time with the characters was I guess very poor.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
one of the things, I mean, all you need is one little hiccup. You got one baby that barfs on Mickey's foot, or, you've got, somebody, even though they're not supposed to, they stop a character right in the middle of his route. Oh, we got to have a picture with Bobby, got to have a picture with Susie, got to, it doesn't take much to throw a wrench into the works, which again is why Chef Mickey's actually took over part of the steakhouse and the Outer Rim Lounge. And they're close to 500 seats now, so I can certainly understand why it takes so long to get Mickey through. But they added characters, so now you can see Donald. Now you can see, I think Daisy's there now. So they've added characters, so it may be a little bit of time before you see Mickey, but you should be seeing a character every 5 or 10 minutes, while you're there eating.
I remember the first time we went down as a family was in 2000. And I think in 2000, there was only a couple hundred restaurants that you could choose from, which still seemed like a lot. But at last count, I think there's now up to 400 and some restaurants on the whole Disney property. And they said they need to add, 50 to 100 more because of the capacity of people coming in.
Right.
They just need to give them more choices, because the character breakfasts are just getting slammed.
Well, they also want to make sure that people don't leave property. So, if they can offer, right now, if we're at capacity, the guests are going to go off property. They'll go to an Applebee's, they'll go to a Fridays. Heaven forbid they go to, Universal, for dinner or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, Disney's still talking about building the monorail from Orlando International Airport straight to the property. So people will come. I mean, they do that with the Magic Express right now with the buses. You get on those things, and you go past everything. You don't stop until you're at your Disney hotel. They're going to do the same thing with the monorail. They don't want people looking around, seeing what's oh, wait, there's stuff over there or over there. No, just, get them straight there. That way, they don't rent a car. They don't start to wander, and Disney doesn't lose any of that market share.
But I was watching one of your videos, and you did a great job of talking about Walt's obsession with detail. And there, if anybody's ever been to Disney, all their parks, I mean, they're so detailed out that when you get into these lands, you're immersed in that land.
Completely.
And I don't think there's any, Universal may do that with Harry Potter, but not to the extent that Disney has perfected the system.
Right. Well, if you look at, Epcot Center, if you walk into the center of any of the countries around World Showcase, you could do a 360 and think that you're, on a street in ancient China, or, you're in the middle of a piazza in Italy. It's just, they want you to feel that complete immersion, because that's part of the experience. But they also do it as well, as a matter of detail. Think about at the China Pavilion in Epcot Center. If you look at the top of the restaurant, there is a rooster, a guy riding a rooster. And this is Emperor Min of the 3rd AD, 3 AD or something like that. And he was a very, mean, devilish emperor. And so he was hung because he was such a, horrible emperor. And so in Chinese customs, they now take this image or this little rooster with Emperor Min sitting on it, and they put it at the end of a building to ward off evil spirits. Now, that is a level of detail. Thousands and thousands of people walk past this little rooster every day. Nobody looks up to see that, but every little thing has a story behind it. There isn't any detail there that they don't. You got to remember, Disney is a storytelling company. But every one of those details is there. If you go to get your autograph with Ariel over in the Magic Kingdom, I mean, it's not just, little velvet rope and a, gold ball stanchion. I mean, it's little seashells, carved into there. And you look down at the ground and it, looks like a boardwalk that transitions into sand, that transitions into seashells. I mean, it's like you just entered the movie. And that level of detail is carried out everywhere. I mean, in the resorts, in the parks, we used to have what was called and I always encourage my clients to do this, is what's called a good show, bad show walkthrough. And as a salaried person, as a leader and manager at Disney, one of my jobs was to do a good show, bad show walkthrough. And what you do is you do a physical plant tour of your operation. And you're looking for things like burnt out light bulbs, cigarette butts in the bushes, things like that. You make your report. You get with the departments that need to do their corrections, and hopefully by the time you open up, all the little bad show items are now good show. I mean, I did that with a dentist that was one of my clients. I asked him, I said, when was the last time you actually walked in your front door? Because most of the times they walk in the back door, with all of the staff, the employee entrance. He goes, God, I don't know. Maybe when I moved in the building, let's take a walk out front. So we walked around out front. Now he's in a little strip mall. So there's a, liquor store at one end and, drugstore down at the other end. But he was appalled at what he saw. I mean, there were cigarette butts, from the people from going to the liquor store, were throwing them down. The bushes weren't, trimmed. The front door was, dirty. It had rained. And so all the mud had splashed up onto the lower part of the glass door. And then he also realized when he walked in his front door that his front desk was built not facing the door. So when you walk in, you got the side of the receptionist's head. I'm like, dude, you got to fix this. And he was just amazed at what was going on out front. You just got to flip it around and take a different look at your business. Walk in through the front door and see what the heck's going on, because you'll be surprised.
Yeah. So was that the inspiration for your book? How'd that come about?
Well, I knew that, my mission is to eradicate the poor customer service and the decline of customer service. I'd say in the world because it is everywhere, but I'm going to start in the US. And I think people need customer service is not difficult. It's not, there's no, people say there's a science to it and they CX this customer experience. And, people got these studies with, footnotes and everything. I'm like, skip all that stuff. Here's simple. People want to be treated like people. They don't want to do business with a business. They want to do business with people. Follow the golden rule, treat others as you wish to be treated. If you do those two things, you're already 10 times above any one of your competitors. But people needed a simple blueprint to follow. And I thought that giving them, a couple of tidbits from my Disney experience, combined it with, with my business ownership experience. And then at the end, once they had their service plan in place, give them a couple of chapters on, okay, now I've got this great business. It's humming along. How do I market it? How do I get my business out there? So there's a couple of chapters on how to market your business once you've got a solid customer service thing going on.
Cool. Now, you also do training down at Disney for the people that want that experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of fun. I do 2 or 3 trips a year where I will bring groups down to Orlando, and it's a full immersion into Disney. It's a mixture of in the parks experience with tours, backstage tours, on-stage tours, looking at the little figures, the roosters on top of restaurants, and then also mixed with some classroom time, where at the end of the 3 days, the attendees have a complete blueprint on how to Disneyfy their business. They can go back Monday morning and start implementing a complete strategy to really knock your socks off customer service, customer experience. we also do some pretty cool stuff with, I still have friends that work at Disney. They're now senior leaders. A buddy of mine, Dave, is a general manager for half of Epcot Center. We do a reception one of the nights, and I'll bring in 3 current Disney leaders to the reception. And there's no presentation. It's ask any question you ever wanted to about how Disney operates, except for financials. And these 3 will give you the unvarnished truth. They'll tell you how the rubber hits the road. I mean, that's one of the problems with, Disney has the Disney Institute, their external training arm where companies go to learn about Disney. That's very scripted. So you're only going to hear what Disney wants you to hear. And if you ask them a question, you might get the answer of, I'll get back to you. And then they don't. But with my guys, it's a very relaxed atmosphere. And like I said, unless you're asking financials, if you want to ask HR, hiring, firing, how they keep the place clean, those kinds of things, it's an hour and a half of a very intimate time with those 3 people. That is the highest rated piece of the entire experience when we're down there for 3 days.
Wow. But it's not just all that. You go, below the park.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We do the behind the scenes tour. We go down underground of the Magic Kingdom, which is people are completely amazed at. That's the other thing, people always forget about is their back of the house or their offstage area. When you go offstage or behind the scenes or, into the kitchens and the tunnels and things of Disney, it's immaculate. Mm-hmm. I mean, there isn't any dust bunnies flowing around. Everything is organized. Everything is, completely the way it should be, even when it's on stage. So I talk with my clients. I said, you need to have an on stage, off stage mentality. So, I mean, when you are in front of, your desk and you're greeting customers or clients at your reception desk, you got to have your on stage thing going. You can't be grumbling about last night's keg party or how bad the boss is or anything like that. No, you're on stage. Now, when you get back to the employee break room or you lock the door and you're closed for the night, then you can let your smile down, relax your face a little bit. And then you can, complain about the keg party. That's exactly what Disney does. Behind the scenes, that's why they always say, okay, well, how do these Disney people stay happy so much? Like, well, when they go through that door going backstage, trust me, they're drooping their shoulders, their face is relaxing. They don't have to smile anymore. And they, they'll talk about whatever it is employees talk about. But once they are on stage, they're performing a show. And that's why they're called cast members and not employees. The underground tour, is very cool. You see all of the computers that run all of the rides and the music and the water features. Very, very impressive.
What's one of your favorite rides?
Favorite ride, Haunted Mansion, no doubt. Love the Haunted
Mansion. I like the new Avatar ride. I just think that the creativity that they put into that, that whole set there in the Animal Kingdom is just amazing.
I was on the opening team for the Animal Kingdom. I was at the Rainforest Cafe and opened up that at the Animal Kingdom. A lot of fun. Yeah. The reason I picked the Haunted House is it's one of the rides that Disney actually personalizes for people. So, those bands that you get, those magic bands, which genius invention. Oh my God, now you don't need a wallet. You just ding, you hit your wrist, ding, oh, got a teddy bear, ding, oops, got a steak. They also use that to personalize your experience. So at the end of the ride, when you're leaving, the tombstones, when you're getting to the end of the ride, will actually have your name projected on the tombstones as you're leaving the ride, and they're getting all that information from that little band on your wrist. So, Disney's doing everything they can to personalize the experience and using technology to do it. And
I thought the whole Fast Pass thing is just incredible, and I think that if every business created a system that they could fast pass some of their customers, they don't have to pay more. They just need to know that you're going to be there to guide them through the process And I just think that it's incredible. And you can go into the park now with your phone and schedule when you're going to be on that ride. And I
Right.
just think that's the coolest thing, because you don't have to wait an hour or two in line. You come back during a certain set time. Now you're on the ride.
Right. It's funny, you made me think about something that, we talk a lot about Disney and, okay, well, they've got billions of dollars to implement all this stuff. One of my taglines is, if a carpet cleaner can do it, anybody can do it. As you know, Rob, I still own my carpet and oriental rug cleaning business. And all of this stuff that we're talking about, I've actually implemented in a carpet cleaning business.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, you don't need a lot of money. You don't even need any money to get these things started. And so, people always think, well, what do I have to do with a theme park? What do I have to do with characters? My business is different. The whole story. Well, Disney's got cost pressures on product. Disney's got, employee, pressures. Disney's, they serve guests and clients just like we serve it. Different scale, but all those things come into, it's not difficult, and it doesn't have to be expensive.
No,
You don't have to have a bajillion dollar computer system to figure out how you're going to wow a guest.
right. Yeah, and sometimes it's just simple things that you can do to really wow them that nobody else is doing, and that's what Disney's doing. I mean, sure, you look at them and say, wow, they have all this money. Well, they started out with a simple, process, and they added to the process, and it's the same thing that everybody else can do, but they don't.
Yep. I mean, we actually implemented a fast pass in my carpet cleaning business. When at the end of every cleaning, my clients get a little coupon, and it's essentially an emergency, fast pass coupon. Like if, we cleaned for you 3 or 4 months ago, and, Johnny knocks over a glass of chocolate milk, and, you need help getting the spot out, or, little Susie fell down and she dropped blood, through the living room or something, give us a call and we will get you in, as soon as we can, if not the same day. I actually had a lady call this morning. She goes, oh my God, my kid fell down. We had a nose gusher, sure. I got somebody in your area, Billy can be there between 12 and 2. Just have your fast pass ready and we'll get you in. So you don't have to imitate or exactly copy what Disney's doing, but find a way to, emulate the process and implement it in your industry.
Yeah. One of the things that people always, I think, joke about, because Disney is so good at it, is monetizing the ride. So as soon as you get off the ride experience, you're so enamored, you're so happy, you're so, thrilled. You're in a gift shop now. And
Yep.
you're like buying everything. And, people would complain about that. But it's the most brilliant thing that you can do in your business, is once that person has the thrill of knowing or experiencing your service, they're more likely to buy something else.
Exactly.
Get them booked on the next thing. Get them done. And it's just, people don't want to, I don't know if they don't want to do it. They think it's complicated, but it's not.
It's not. No, I mean, those kinds of things are drop dead easy to do. The one that is really genius, and I try and find ways for my clients to implement this, is Disney actually gets you to pay for their infrastructure directly. Like when did you buy a brick to go in the walkway that goes from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom? You ever buy one of those family bricks?
No,
I think they were like, at the time they were like $67 or $77 for a brick, and you got your name on it, and then they put it in the sidewalk. Brilliant, because they got the guests to pay for the sidewalk. Makes a lot of sense. Well, because they are expanding the Magic Kingdom to install the Tron thing over in Tomorrowland, they had to dig up that sidewalk. Well, you're not getting your brick back. This is genius what Disney did. Genius. They contacted everybody that had bought a brick and offered to sell them another brick that was a replica of the brick that they had bought for $29.95. So now, and their close rate was like, I talked to the lady in the merchandise, and she goes, yeah, you got about 65 to 70% of people have bought a second brick. I mean, what does a brick cost at Lowe's? I mean, $1, maybe 75 cents. No. And this one doesn't even come with your name on it. This is just a Disney brick. So, that's how Disney gets you to pay for, installing sidewalks and buildings and things like that. But I try and get my clients to, I mean, can you get one of your top clients to sponsor a bench or, a memorial chair in your waiting room or what have you? There's different ways that you can use that method to help you with your own infrastructure.
Well, I was watching one of your videos, and you actually talk about goofy questions. And one of the things that I always teach my clients is that you should always make a list of about 50 of the most frequently asked questions people ask, and turn them into videos or blog articles or whatever.
Right.
But for Disney or for any company out there, take the 50th goofiest questions that people have ever asked. And now you have something that, because people are going to type those in the search anyway.
Right.
And they type those in and they're finding you,
Yep.
So what are some of the questions that would people ask you at Disney?
It always, people completely leave their entire sense of reality when they get onto it's just poof, gone. They think it is the safest, most secure place, and nothing bad is ever going to happen, except for the alligator, but that's a whole nother story. But at Disney, crazy thing, if you go outside one of the rides and you see 100 strollers parked outside the ride, all with purses, backpacks, camera bags, all dangling off of them, and people just leave them there because they think, oh, it's Disney, it's safe. You would never leave a stroller with a camera on, Madison Avenue in downtown Manhattan. It'd be gone in a hot second. But at Disney, nope. They feel so safe. They've lost their sense of reality. They'll just park that sucker anywhere. And it's funny, everybody wears costumes at Disney. That's what they call uniforms. And it always amazes me we all have name tags. Sometimes we have goofy hats on. And it always amazes me, people come up, do you work here? And, you always have to look at the question behind the question. That's just their way of saying hi. Excuse me, do you work here? And said, hi. So we take those questions when we were at Disney, we would take those questions and, on the surface, that sounds really stupid, but okay, what's the question behind the question? What are they really asking? What time is the 3 o'clock parade? Well, 3 o'clock. And you could be a real smart ass, well, you can't be a smart ass, but you could try to be one.
I'd get fired within 5 minutes.
But you'd be fired. So, so what's the question behind the question? What they're really asking is, the parade is a mile long. They want to know, what time does the parade hit this spot in the street? Oh, okay. So yeah, parade probably get here about 3:20, 3:25. So that's the question behind the question. So people use jargon all the time. Your HDL on your PDQ of the XYZ, ended up with an ABC. And, as a client or customer, you're looking at them like, what did they just say? And you got to remember who you're talking to. So you can't use your industry jargon when you're talking to clients. You got to, not that you have to dumb it down, but you got to use terms and phrases that, a layperson would understand.
Yeah, I always tell, my clients I do have to dumb it down because, most people are, not in tune with, my clients' terminology. And most of them are lawyers, doctors, professionals who speak a different language. And, it is what it is. People are not dumb. It's just they're not to that level of understanding some of those words. So,
right.
But how do people get a hold of you? How do they get your book? And what's the next step that they should take if they want to elevate their business to be more like Disney?
Sure. Best way to get in touch with me would be through the website. I've got a contact me box there. You can go to deliverservicenow.com. I've got a great Cliff Notes version of the book there that you can download for free. There's enough in that little special report to, I mean, get you started, get you going, a month's worth of ideas to get you going. And then also the book, you can get at Amazon. It's called Systematic Magic. Looks something, oh, it's invisible.
It's invisible.
My invisible book. You like that? I got to hold it right in front of me. If I put it over here, that's a great trick. I love it.
That's
do that more often.
magic.
You can get that at Amazon. Also, if you send me a contact form, I will send it to you with a special bonus for half price is what you can get it on Amazon. So I do have a Get Vance's book tab on the website. So deliver service now is the best way to get that done.
And they get a hold of you on the website to
Yep.
book your training down at
Yep,
Disney?
training. We do. I do individual coaching with companies. I only work with 6 companies a year, just because that's all the bandwidth I've got. You don't work with anybody but me. So I don't have, a second in command that I send out. It's me. And most of the projects that I do are, between 90 and 120 days, sometimes a little bit longer, to make sure that we get, the process that you're looking for implemented in your business or office or practice. I do have which I guess you call it a home study course. So it's essentially everything I teach at the Disney boot camp down in Orlando, minus Mickey Mouse and minus the theme parks. So you can get everything all in that package. And again, you can find that on the website.
All the package, but without the experience.
What's that?
I said the whole package without the experience.
Oh, well, I mean, it's an experience opening the box because you get some pretty nifty goodies in there. But yeah, no, Mickey Mouse will not shake your hand when you open the box. Sorry.
Yeah, or no walking through the tunnels in your package.
No.
Man.
Now you're not even allowed to take pictures down there. Otherwise, I would have taken pictures of the tunnels and put them in there. But can't do that.
See, guys, this is why Vance is the Disney guy, and he's built his business on taking examples of what Walt does to increase the magic that he delivers to his clientele. And you can do the same thing. So go to his website, deliverservicenow.com, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. And if you want to learn more about me, just visit me at anspachmedia.com. Hey, adios.
Thank you.